There's so much cat hair in this tea. Today, I want to talk about beards. At this point, if you've watched at least one other of my videos, you will have already seen in glorious high definition the fine growth of dark hair I can accrue on my chin. Before we get started, if anyone is easily grossed out or triggered or anything like that with talk about body hair, hormones, periods, then go away. You will not enjoy this. And for everyone else, I really hope that you would stick around and we can have a frank discussion about the hairs on my chinny chin chin. Also, please hit like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. I have very obvious facial hair, which in the days of COVID and being able to wear a mask out in public is actually not that big of an issue because no one can see it, so there we go. However, I thought I would address it here because it is very, very noticeable in most of my videos because for some reason I'm only inspired to make videos when the growth on my face is really, really noticeable, and then to add insult to my own personal injury, I don't wear makeup in most of my videos. This is an interesting issue that I have developed throughout my 20s, and it is getting worse as I'm getting older, and I have tried several things to manage it, which I'm going to talk about a little bit in this video, but if anyone's interested in how I actually manage it in a little bit more detail, then I can maybe do a separate video about that in the future. I don't know, let me know. And I have the ability to grow such an envious little beard because I am the proud owner of a polycystic I almost said ovary singular. I've got more than one ovary. I am the proud owner of polycystic ovaries, and I do suffer, there's no other word for it, I suffer from PCOS, and PCOS affects so many people. Like, I think the stat in the UK is like 1 in 3 or something, like it's really, really widespread, but a lot of people don't ever show symptoms. Some people it's only the odd symptom here and there, other people it's just really awful periods specifically, and other people like me, the symptoms get worse and worse as you get older, and it's increasingly difficult to manage and you're constantly having to adapt your management tactics for it. And one of the big symptoms of PCOS, for me specifically, this does not go for everyone, there's a lot of people out there who don't get any symptoms, never mind this specific one, but one of the symptoms for me obviously is excess body hair. So body hair, especially for women, is seen as this particularly disgusting thing that no one should ever have to deal with, and there's an entire corner of the internet I've noticed that's filled with men who don't want to know that women grow hair anywhere other than their eyelashes up. And you're mad, you're absolutely mad, and you're wrong, and it's perfectly natural, and we all have it. And some of us, lucky bitches, have more than others. And it appears on our faces, and it is strong, long, and dark, because we're dark-haired. And it is significantly more difficult to hide thick dark hair when you are as white as Casper the Friendly Ghost. So I was obsessed with hiding it and bleaching it and making sure nobody ever knew, and like constantly daily plucking it out when I was younger. And it just got to the point where I was like, do you know what, I can't be arsed. It's so much like hard work. So now what I do is once every 6 weeks or so, I rip it out with hot wax, and that's fine. It's not the best solution. I personally would love to be able to get to a stage where I can just think, you know what, sod it, like, this is real, this is me. But I am not that body confident, and I cannot strut around like I'm the be all and end all when I know that that hair is there. And that is a big takeaway from what I've learned over the last few years of dealing with this and managing PCOS in general. Every single one who suffers with it is different. Every single person who is managing symptoms of it is different. They have different symptoms and they have different like requirements or needs from managing their symptoms. And every single person on the planet has a different level of body confidence. And I love those videos of women who have fully embraced the facial hair. They fully embrace that that's just how they are. And, you know, they walk around looking absolutely glorious with like this lovely beard. And it's noticeable and it's obvious and it's perfectly groomed and it looks so soft and you just want to lay your little face on it and it's great. And then on top of that, they do like a banging ass makeup look and I think they just look absolutely amazing. However, I am not there, and I am probably never going to be there because I am not great with that. I prefer to remove most of my body hair. So I'm never going to be that person that's confident enough to just let it completely grow in fully and just rock it wherever I go. Like I can't be that person. It's just not in me and it makes me really sad, but I'm working on having the mentality of it being more acceptable in my own head. I say acceptable. It's acceptable regardless of what anyone, including yourself, thinks of it, right? It's a naturally occurring thing. You are made to produce these things. And that's the end of that. There shouldn't be any further discussion on it. It definitely shouldn't be stigmatized. And you should be able to do with your body hair exactly what you want to do. And if you want to keep it and rock it and look amazing while doing it, that is amazing. Wish it could be me, but it just can't. However, if you prefer to remove it like I do, then that's perfectly acceptable as well. It's your body, you can do what you want with it. So I do wax, I wax every 6 weeks, and then other than that, I don't bother doing anything with it. I just let it grow full and thick and glorious, but it's patchy as well. So like, I have a bald patch there, so my chin, like the very front of my chin there, gets really thick and very dark and very obvious, and that's the bit that I see people looking at when they talk to me. Just at that point where it's more or less ready to wax and it's like wild and a little bit wiry and like it's sitting like slightly away from my skin. I notice you looking at it. My eyes are up here and it makes me self-conscious. So actually wearing a mask has been brilliant, but knowing that people notice it, for me personally, it makes me self-conscious, it makes me feel less attractive, and it makes me feel less in love with my body and how I feel about myself in general. So I wax it off. My end goal, eventually, at some point, is laser treatment, get it all gone. As and when that happens, I would really like to make a video and to document the journey of it, because I know that a lot of people get laser hair removal for armpits, bikini lines, whatever else. But doing something like that on your face is quite a different thing, and I would be really interested in documenting the process so that I can share it with other people who are maybe thinking about the same thing and they can see exactly what my results are. So that's something for like so far down the line, like it's years away, let's be honest, because laser is expensive, and it is expensive because it works, and it works more or less permanently. So that's what I'm aiming for eventually. However, in the meantime, it's really just a question of being confident enough in myself to know that it doesn't take away from how I look. I can still wear the same clothes, I can still do the same makeup, and I still look the same, but it does have a knock-on effect with how I feel. And this, I think, is a really big thing for people suffering with PCOS and trying to live with the symptoms. There's always one symptom, in my experience, that upsets people more than the other. And I've spoken to a couple of people online about this over the past couple of months. And what I've noticed is that every single person that I've spoken to has a different singular symptom that really, really upsets them and makes them self-conscious. And that to me is kind of heartbreaking because it's all different. You know, it's not the kind of condition where you've like fallen and scraped your knee and then you're upset because you got a sore knee and it's the same for everyone every time it happens. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's such a huge and varied umbrella of symptoms and problems and hormonal everything. And it's just a mess of a condition to live with, to be perfectly frank. It is a mess of a condition. You will also notice from the videos where I am not wearing any makeup that I do have really quite bad acne, made worse by the fact that I am a compulsive picker. Can't help myself. Never happier than when my face is bleeding. I would rather have the acne over the hair because I find that much easier to manage, and for me personally, that is a much easier thing to live with day by day. And equally, someone else could come along and could be like, do you know what, nah, actually I'd rather have the hair than the acne, because maybe their acne is cystic and incredibly painful all the time and whatever else, and that's perfectly valid. As a person who has periods, as a person with a uterus, it can really take over your entire life if you let it. And I have decided that I am going to start talking about this on my channel because I have had conversations with a couple of people on Instagram over the last couple of months, and those conversations made me really sad for those people because they felt so lost and they felt like they were struggling to get a proper diagnosis. And I just want it to stop. I just want to be able to start a conversation about this. It is perfectly okay to grow an excessive amount of facial hair. It's also perfectly acceptable to rip it out every 6 weeks, much to the horror of the man you live with. It's perfectly acceptable to have a beard. It's perfectly acceptable to bleach your tash. It's perfectly acceptable to rip your beard out every few weeks. It is definitely perfectly acceptable to walk around and rock your beard and grow it in nicely and groom it properly and just absolutely kick the ass of anyone who looks at you funny. What it's not acceptable to do is to diminish the experience of people who are suffering with something like this. PCOS is not the only hormonally driven condition like this, and I don't have any experience of any other hormonal condition. I have PCOS. That is thankfully at the moment the only thing that I live with permanently and that I will live with for the rest of my life. But there are a lot of other conditions that affect people with uteruses exactly the same way, in much worse ways, in very painful and upsetting ways, and all of them need to be taken more seriously, and we need to be able to have a discussion about them. So I am starting a discussion here on my channel. This is a safe place for all you bearded babes to come and talk about all your experiences and to listen to me waffle on about the fact that I can see people making eye contact with my beard. So I'm starting a discussion. This is the first video. This is my beard story by Liv. And hilariously, you will have noticed now that I've been talking about it for however long, that I have recently waxed. I don't know if you can see it is just starting that lovely itchy stubbly phase. Soon. Very soon. I have no idea how long this video is going to end up being. I've talked for ever such a long time, so I'm just going to leave it there. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments down below. If you are interested in more information where you can educate yourself more about PCOS and things like that, check out the links in the description. If you enjoyed this video, if you got something empowering or useful out of it, I don't know, please hit like and subscribe, hit that ring bell button down below to be notified every time I upload a new video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!